Tall, dark figure freaking out on my porch. I didn't seriously believe in the supernatural. Have you seen or heard anything weird around here? My name is Michael Adams. Some people know me as the Lord of O.R.D on YouTube. The reason why I got involved with Bigfoot. So in 2017, tall, dark figure freaking out on my porch. I didn't seriously believe in the supernatural. Have you seen or heard anything weird around here? My name is Michael Adams. Some people know me as the Lord of O.R.D on YouTube. The reason why I got involved with Bigfoot. So in 2017, I was in crossroads in my life. I was part of the truther movement on the World Wide Web and internet, and I got very discouraged with that. And so I figured I'd investigate something that you're not supposed to. And I picked Bigfoot, and my goal was to prove that Bigfoot was a government psyop and a joke. So that was my goal. And then I started interviewing folks, and started we did a series of shows with M.K. Davis and several others. And as time went on, I was interviewing these folks. I started to realize that I wasn't going to be able to know if this stuff was real or not unless I did the research myself. You know what I mean? It's just depending on people's stories. Not to disrespect them, but you know, you don't know until you know. So. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. Welcome to the Loosh Farm. I'm here with my friend and researcher and the cameraman, Jack Riggs.
Hey, thanks for having me tonight. Hello,
everyone. We weren't really planning on this, well, until 3 hours ago. So you called me and said, "You want to do a show?" And I'm like, "With you, Jack, anytime." So
lots to talk about.
Look at all the people that showed up. Let's see. Hello, Steve Video. Hello, Tarma. Hello, Julia. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Hey, cameraman. Heather, Eric,
Steve, Heather, Eric, Stump Jumper, Mid-South, Shannon, Grimmer.
Probably kind of missing a few of you folks. Don't mean to, but I can't do this.
Julia, Debbie, Karen, Heather.
Nice.
Hello.
Nice. We got everyone in Lee. Okay. And everyone else. So we decided that Jack, he called up and said, "Hey man, let's do a show about pareidolia."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, sure, why not? I always wanted to do a show about pareidolia, you know, help people distinguish between what pareidolia actually is, scientifically at least, and you know, there's a tendency out there in the Bigfoot community to misconstrue what pareidolia is and what some of the things that we're filming off there in the woods, huh?
Right. Yeah, a lot of people seem to have questions about it.
And it's been quite a strange week, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a strange week.
We were talking earlier about the attempted assassination of Mr. Trump.
Yeah, how sad.
And we'll be talking about that later on in this show, because maybe you guys didn't know this, but UFOs and orbs were filmed that day.
It was. How crazy. How crazy was that?
I know. And then you had the RNC, the Republican National Convention, which is really weird. I can't imagine ever spending any time there, but not that I'm on any side. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking any sides in this. It's weird. And
Yeah,
but anyways,
weird.
I guess the actual, was it the big time wrestler dude, right? He was he was on there. What's his name again? I can't think of his name. I watched it too. Who's the big time wrestler guy? The tears his shirt and all that. And,
Hulk Hogan?
Hulk Hogan. How could I forget that? I mean,
yeah.
But was more interesting is that after the convention, then there was the internet glitch and basically shutdown of the internet and on hospitals and airports. And then there were some guys that I know that I follow that went to the convention and were stuck in the airport, and they filmed it, and people freaking out, and people, I don't know if you guys saw any of that, but there was crowds in O'Hare Airport, and they were really pissed off, and the people that do the checking out or whatever, the gates and all that kind of stuff. They're like,
as far as out here.
Was that
the internet outages went as far as here?
Yeah, it went throughout the whole world.
Yeah.
That same company, by the way, is involved with the Russiagate nonsense.
Microsoft?
Well, it's not Microsoft. It's different something. I can't think of the name right now. I've been listening to it. I've just actually listened to it again. I could look into it if you want to. I got it on my TikTok account. But then, but it was throughout the whole world, hospitals, the airports, and all that.
Yeah.
And then an exclamation point of this week is, surprise, surprise, Grandpa Biden decided to step down, right? So, but no, what was there something? The more important thing is it's just a sorcery, folks. There's a lot of sorcery going on. If people don't believe in sorcery, all I got to say is open up your eyes, like you said earlier to me. Open up your eyes, folks, because sorcery is as real as it was back then, too. It's just using different technology to play with our minds. Anyways, we were going to talk about pareidolia, and I figured, man, since you brought it up, maybe we can go over the definition of pareidolia, look at what the scientists say pareidolia is. And
is it really scientist-based, though, yet? I don't think it is. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe, it's AI, it's artificial intelligence. I'm pulling it off Google, folks. So if you really want to get into the scientific papers and all that, and that'd be pretty dry and boring. But, watch this. So this is a cover on this right here is the last time I seriously went out in the field, which was in May 2022. It was the last time because I filmed a Bigfoot, and there it is. So I believe it's a Bigfoot. You can see the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the cone. They actually got another one, something I believe was on top of it. And then you got this stuff. Now this stuff is, you see, like I think that's maybe potato with little grooves in it, or a purse with the handles and how it is. It looks like a face, or a pot, or a building, another tomato, knots and trees, outlets, etc. This is what, at least if we were to go on the internet. Sorry about that. I've been watching that. By the way, it's good. Last American Vagabond is an excellent show on Rumble if you want to learn about what the world's about. In my opinion, for whatever it's worth, and I'm pretty opinionated. I recognize that. So, anyways, here's more examples. Just go on the internet, and you'll see endless examples of "quote unquote" pareidolia. From outlets to the way cream is on coffee or chocolate. To here's that's kind of funny. The knobs and the at least at a dryer or a washer, probably a dryer, sinks. Pareidolia. Pareidolia is illusionary perception of meaningful patterns or images of familiar things in random or amorphous data. Blah, 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 blah. Phenomenon is a phenomenon of seeing faces, figures, and forms and patterns, as opposed to where one normally sees faces, figures, and forms on animals, including people and landscape. Now, what I like to argue, Jack, is that with stuff that we're filming is stuff that's sticking out of this inanimate objects, and such as trees, rocks, and all kind of stuff, not the nooks and crannies.
Right.
Pareidolia is seeing what appears to the individual to be a representation of a face, figure, or form in the clouds, wood grain, marble, smoke, shadows, or any non-homogeneous area. It also it can also be auditory, which I had no idea. Did you know that they actually auditory? That means sound.
Sound, yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense. Phenomena as in hearing of white noise or record played backwards that sounds to the individual as words or a melody that isn't actually there.
Yep.
According to them. So let's see, where else was this? Pareidolia, a face is more likely to be perceived as male than female. New study reveals. Despite our fluency in reading human faces, sometimes we mistakenly perceive illusionary faces in objects. Now, that's the difference between in objects and on objects, which they don't mention. The phenomena known as a face pareidolia, as in a new series of experiments, researchers and laboratories of brain and cognition at the National Institute of Mental Health, the School of Psychology, University of Queensland, have found that illusionary faces in inanimate once again, not on, in inanimate objects. This is really important to keep that in mind. Are readily perceived to have a specific emotional expression, age, gender. Most likely, the authors have observed a strong bias to perceive illusionary faces as male rather than female. Sorry, ladies. Or maybe it's just sorry to gentlemen, depending on how you see it. So if we go through this stuff and we look at the examples of what is a pareidolia, we'll constantly see, here's an example of a tree. And the way you say, wow, that kind of looks like a woman's figure, right? And it sure does. But that's a tree. Would you agree, Jack? Is that a tree?
That's a tree to me.
It's a tree. That's an example of pareidolia. Oh, what else? Oh, here's another nice example of that. Almost it looks like it's being mirrored of pareidolia.
I just don't think that you can. I seen in the comments here about moving or things like that. I think that could happen during a day, but we know so less about these creatures, Bigfoot, things like that, that I think you kind of have to throw that out, pareidolia.
Well, we have to. The important thing that, as far as my book is what I'm concerned. Hey, how's it going, Damon? What's going on, bro? Is that look at this palm tree and the knots and that, and it looks like a face with hair, right? But it's a palm tree, right?
Right.
Very distinguishable. I mean, you can recognize it, and it's in the object. It's part of the. It's clearly part of the object. And now, if including clouds, you can say that too. We have, we look at that too if we want to. But like a horse, I mean, it looks like a horse, right? Sure, right. It freaking does. One of the things we're going to deal with is AI and CGI and that kind of stuff. So we got to think about that. That doesn't mean that, in my book, Jack, that when we see that doesn't mean that entities themselves did not manipulate it, right?
Right.
So, from my experience, entities can do something like this, either to entertain us or influence us or whatever.
Correct. I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, so have I. I mean, here's one example of a deer, and I'm just like, well, you can't, if first of all, if it really did happen and these people saw it that way, it's so freaking cool.
Yeah,
Isn't
I
it?
think some of those are AI, just for views.
Yeah, this might be more realistic. Something like this camel was barely seek. I don't know if I can.
Right.
Do I want to blow it up? No, I'm not going to blow it up. So, anyways, jump in anytime you want to, bro. If you want to, because I know you wanted to talk about this. But
yeah, I think
I tell you one thing, this stuff right here, and they'll say, no way, Jose, that it can't be. But from my experience,
like that
faces can manifest through clouds. Whether anybody likes it or not, and whether anybody agrees with it or not, I can't I can't change that. I can't, convince you one way or another. You have to go out and do it yourself. You talk to the spirits, go out there, interact, and I don't know, man. The vibes are right. It sounds new agey, but if you're in the right alignment, from my personal experiences right now in my life, I'm not in the right alignment at all, because I've been focusing on what's been going on in Gaza, what's going on in Ukraine, what's going on in geopolitics, for the past 3 months, and it's pretty much killed my any kind of sense of spirituality. But when you're connected, when you're focused on the creator and the creation and the spirits, that these things do manifest, just like orbs will manifest, just like lights in the sky will manifest. This is a well-established fact. But you got to put the time into it, and most people aren't going to do it. So they just will not do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because first of all, they're going to feel stupid about doing it, I imagine. And secondly, it's, you really got to, but you got to be in the right space,
Right.
Liminal space, if you think about it.
Me personally, I think being out there, and I 100% believe not knowing about these things. I mean, I said it earlier in a post today. Every hunter that goes out, every researcher has their own ideas of what goes on. There's so little that we know about these things. We don't know. I mean, I've seen things blend in and a dark shade blend tree and then turn different colors, and me going, what? Am I just seeing things or what? And I think a lot of people, when you watch Bigfoot videos or still frames, or you're looking at pictures, I believe that you do catch them. What if a Bigfoot could use the leaves and manifest into a leaf, but still take shape of a human, or like a human figure? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
What if they can?
What's going on, Judy? Sue, what's going on?
We just know so little of these things and what they could do. We know, when the light hits them, do they absorb our light? The other night I was out, we were out on the live hunt, and every time I turned the light in a certain area, my light would dim down. I never had that happen before. I'd move it to the left, the light would go bright. Move it back to that object, and my lights would dim. Move it to the right or left, dim down, or light back up, and then dim down back on that object. There's just so little that we don't know. So is this just a way they name it pareidolia? So, when you see something, you go, okay, that's just my mind playing tricks on me.
Right.
And they just name something because they don't want you to know, okay, that's real. Let's name it if they see it.
So here's an example of one of the spirits that I filmed in the woods. And you guys can see the eyes and this shadowy being. It's getting a little pixelated. I mean, if you want to believe that's pareidolia, but that is not part of that tree. Remember, right. It says it's in it. It's in the object. Pareidolia is in the object. This is on or projected on the object, or it's in front of the object. And what I argue is when you're dealing with force spirits, beings, you are filming something that's in front of an inanimate object, usually trees, branches, leaves. The only way you're going to know if I'm telling you the truth is you're going to have to go out there and do it yourself.
Right.
It's the only way you're going to be able to, and then you're going to have to do, because, or you take my word, and I say don't take my word, go find out for yourself, because that way you'll know for sure, and then you'll have knowledge instead of, just somebody said so. Right. I mean, I'm a nobody, right? So.
Well, we know, seems like we know less and less about these things because a lot of people have inputs, of their experiences. I think that we need to, categorize it and look at the big picture, because I'm telling you, these things, some things, I think my mind's playing tricks on me out there, but I can tell you, after reviewing it, watching something move and then stop and go, where'd it go? And then getting back and, somebody sends me a picture. It was right there. And it's like, man, I just questioned that too, So can these things blend into their surroundings? Can they mimic a tree or blend into a tree? I mean, like I said earlier, I seen a face in a tree on a thermal,
Right. Well, can they, from your observation, from your experiences, but can they do what you just said? Can they blend into a tree? Can they?
To me, yes. Absolutely. We see ghosts and they just walk through walls, At least my ghost that I had experience with, I had an attachment for about 6 months and it was horrible.
So, oh, he did? Oh, yeah, that's a lot of fun. We'll talk about that in a bit. Stump Jumper asks, mountain ranges and hills named because of their shapes, is that considered pareidolia as well? I mean, yeah, and because here's the thing about, so there's this whole thing about the giants of old and the flood and all that kind of stuff, and I can't remember what they called now because I studied that as well. And there's a lot of stuff that does look like elephants and animals and dragons, and but the thing is it's an angle, right? And it's just an angle on that specific shot and the angle of that mountain. So I mean, Occam's razor would say, yeah, most likely that what you're looking at, because it is the object itself, right? Like the tree, if you see the knobs in the tree and all that, and it looks like a face, the odds are that it is pareidolia. Now, saying that, I can't think of the name of the guy, and there's other guys out there too, who have like these stones of, these, what do they call them now? It's not solidified stone something. Man, it's been so long, and I'm getting old, and I learned so much stuff, I can't remember anything anymore. I can't remember any of the people I used to research and follow. But there's a guy out there in particular, I think he lives in Spain now, and he's been filming stuff that looks like hearts and organs of beings and all that kind of stuff. Is he right about that? I mean, I think that what it comes down to is one has to find out for themselves if they can.
Right.
If you can't, you can't. I mean, understand that, because I'm at that stage in my life where I'm very limited in what I can do.
Yeah.
But you know, if anybody else can tell me what I'm saying.
Yeah, I see that. It comes down. Karen said it comes down to frequency. Absolutely. And we worked with a lot of frequencies, still do. I mean, it's amazing what happens when you turn those frequencies on. You know, it's amazing what happens. And then when you turn them off, you know, it's amazing.
We say frequency, is this some of the frequency we're generating, or the frequency that we're witnessing, or combination thereof? I mean, what are you folks?
I think, to me, when I go out there, I take a frequency maker and I play all kinds of frequencies. You know, the frequencies known to man, they have a list, 0 to 1,000. But I think our frequencies, when we go out, depending on what mood you're in, changes. You know, say you go out into the forest and you're just having a bad day, and you go in there, you might have a bad time versus going in there feeling good. It's all about your frequencies. And I think these things have their own frequencies also. So you might be in tune. Your frequency might match theirs, and you see something. You know, kind of, I'll say this lightly, but, you know, we go out into the forest. You know, I question sometimes, you know, is it our frequency? Do we manifest these things? You know what I'm saying?
I think we do. I personally think if I'm in the right quote frequency, which means I'm disconnected from what the world's doing, and disconnected to the geopolitics, and disconnected to the it might seem selfish, but I think for me, I have to do this. I'm disconnected what's going on in the terror is going on in the Ukraine, or in Gaza, or the politics, or Trump, or on television, and 99.9% everything's on the internet, and I disconnect from, you know, the crap I'm going through with my son's mother and all this stuff. You know what I mean? I get focused on whatever that is. And for me, what's worked in the past is if I focus on the creator, or I call Lord of all spirits, or you can call it whatever the heck you want to call it, and I focus on that, I show gratitude, I get into the mood, and things just show up. They show up. Somehow they show up. Am I right about that?
Absolutely.
I think I am, from my own personal experience. Can I say it's going to happen to you guys? I can't say that. You have to find out for yourself. So,
yeah, I like I said, I think it's a frequency thing. When you match that frequency, I believe you'll be able to see them.
Love. So what is that frequency? She says love.
I got a couple that I have saved that I've played frequencies out in the forest right next to leaves, and watched the leaves start moving, and wrote that down, you know.
You know, another thing too that happened to me too, who I was interacting with. So when I was interacting with that Choctaw medicine woman back in 2017, and I was talking to her and interacting with her, and somehow with her magic and all that, I think it contributed to the fact, because then I started seeing something similar to what you're talking about. I started seeing these spirits that would manipulate the branches and the leaves and make faces, and I'd be like taking my son to, you know, carry out or go somewhere, and I'll be driving. I'm just like, time stands still, right? It's just, or it slows down, and I might be in the parking lot, and I'm just watching this. And I'm watching say maybe some arborvitaes or something. I'm watching something manipulate that stuff to frickin' make it look like a face, and I'm like, there's no wind, there's nothing blowing it. What's making that happen? You know,
right? That
was a really bizarre experience for me, and whether anybody believes me or not, and once again, hey, I don't blame you if you don't, but I know what I went through.
Yeah.
And it's pretty shocking, you know what I mean? Of course,
Right.
at the time I was really religious and Christian side type of things. So they kind of everything was a demon, right? And but now through time and experience, I'm just like, I think we're the demons, and we don't know what these things are. I think we're the demons. What I mean is the acts that we do as human beings. I can't think of anything more demonic. You know what I mean? Honestly, I mean, these things that you and I have dealt with and interact with. Has anything? I mean, let's go back to this. What you were talking about, the hitchhiker. What was that experience like? Was there any harm done to you in the long run,
Yeah,
or
it
was
was
it just
horrible.
okay? Tell me
Yeah,
about it.
absolutely there
Tell
was.
me
It
about it.
was horrible. It was the most horrible experience I ever had in my life for about 6 months. This thing scared, excuse me when I say this thing scared the shit out of me. And it would show itself in weird effing ways. I'd be standing out back, letting my dog out, and this damn thing would pop up on the corner of my garage and fence line and then look around and then show itself. And, I'd see this thing and be like, you got to stay out here. And then it would wake me up and show itself walking by my doorway. It was crazy.
So, were you seeing like shadowy beings or figures? What did it look like? Did it look like it look like a Bigfoot?
No, it was like if you took me and blacked me all out, that's what it looked like. Except
Right.
when it showed itself to me as a guy. I was laying in bed for some god awful reason. I woke up and was looking at the doorway, and this thing came up the steps and walked through the house right past the door, like towards the living room. I got up, I ran, turned on the lights looking for this thing, and nothing, man. Nothing.
So that's one of the things that which that's a little more anecdotal evidence, but I think it's important based on your own experience that when we're out in the woods, we're not like solely dealing with quote unquote Bigfoot at all. In fact, I think Bigfoot is the rare exception.
Right.
That I believe that I'm being generous to say it's 1% of what we're dealing with is actually Sasquatch or Bigfoot. I think we're dealing with more things, like this is an example of an entity that I filmed. It looks very human-like. Doesn't show up right or not, but you can see it's almost like got a hat on his head. You can see the eye and his shadow. It's all pixelated now, but you look at it closely, and that's popping out of a tree looking at me, and I'm in the woods, right? And I'm looking at that thing, and that ain't a Bigfoot.
No.
Right. And these are the type of things that I believe that follow us. Although when I had that experience in 2017, and especially in December, and then, I mean, I saw what looked like a Bigfoot manifest and pop out of a tree. That's the beginning of 3 days of living hell, right? And then it was pretty, it was probably months before things, at least I settled down, right? Until I did. I mean, it was so extreme for me that I like went, I don't think I was giving good advice at the time, but doing the best I can. And it was like Dr. Erica Shepard, who's known for doing deliverance and all that. And I mean, I'm calling her up. She's telling me what to do. I'm like getting rid of all my occult books and anything that was occult, anything close to be occult. Getting rid of paintings, pictures, everything. That stuff I that spent hours and days and months on. I went full bore extreme about getting rid of this thing. And you know what? I think that the problem was for me, dude. I had to come to terms with the fact that they do exist.
Right.
And that I think that when we're having that dark night of a soul experience with these things, I think they're there to wake us up, to let us know that they are there, that where they're waking us up to a greater reality. So when I say that they didn't, they terrorized me, they made my life miserable, but I think I contributed to that because I have my own ignorance. I didn't know how to deal with it. And I didn't, I was perceiving them as evil. when I settled down and I just accepted their existence, is that they're part of the reality. You know what I mean? The spiritual ecology, that the ether that's swimming and all around us. I just like, they're just there. They've always been there. There's nothing I can do. I chose to go look for them, and they interacted with me.
Yep.
You know what I
You
mean?
decide to put on the glasses, now you can never take them off.
And sometimes, like right now, I'm like in this stage in my life, and I'm just like, which is strange because when you think about it, I'm watching this stuff and the horrors of what's going on in Gaza and what's going on in Ukraine and all of, and then and other places, and even in this country with all the illegal aliens and what's happening in our country. And I'm just like, which is the more evil thing that I've been focusing on the past 3 months, or this stuff that I didn't understand, because they look like monsters to me. They look like monsters thanks to Hollywood and what everyone else said, when in reality, they're like, listen, if the first time you discover a tarantula, you know what I mean? It's an ugly looking thing, isn't it? It could look like a monster, right? Anyways, so my point is, go ahead, man.
We believe in ghosts. Half the world's seen them. Now UFOs and aliens are just a thing, Well, okay, they're there. There's so much more, There's so much more. I think the government will soon come out and say that. I've seen documents on it. You can look up files, the government files, and see this stuff, and I think a lot of people are waking up to it and seeing these things, I don't know who came up with the name Bigfoot, but, great name. Love it.
Well, you got the
what they really are.
Bigfoot prints.
Yeah.
At least at least the real ones, the ones that are real. It says here, Julia says, when I passed, I went to the light and the shadow man said I had to go back. I've heard this so many times. Maybe not calling him shadow man, but this whole thing when you go to the other side and you have near-death experience, you're pretty much told you have to go back, even though you don't want to. Which now goes to what I'm talking about, and the reason why I changed my channel to the Loosh farm, and that's something that we could talk about. That's very deep about this place, because it contradicts just about everything that we've been told our lives. But it does go along and with near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences, and reincarnation, if it is true. But if reincarnation is not what people, I think, well, this is another topic. So, and after that, he was there every time out of nowhere. I found myself talking to him and finally told him to leave, and he did. Very interesting. And that's what Julia, what I believe is part of the thing, is taking authority, power, taking our authority. So like when I was having that weird 3-day experience, and that the final that night, when there was something that I believe to be was a Bigfoot, or maybe it wasn't a Bigfoot, it could have been something else, but something was crawling around on my freaking porch, knocking into things, and I finally had enough. I just exhausted and tired of being afraid and all that. I've been praying to Jesus and all that, and nothing's working. And I finally, I just got up and I started F-bombing and telling them to get the F out of here, right? And what's funny is that when I did that, and by the way, it's like 5 feet away from where I stood up, because it was on the other side of the wall on my porch.
Thankfully.
And it started banging back and forth and running. And then with my buddy upstairs, he pulls in from the air base, and like 3:20 in the morning, and he sees this really tall dude in all black and a black hoodie. So it's a really big dude, and it looked like he saw the black hoodie in our backyard, right? And he goes after it, and I'm like, it wasn't a dude. It wasn't a prowler or anything like that. But he thought it was a really big dude in a black hoodie, and yeah,
Yeah.
I would argue that it was one of the what we call a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Got a conical head, looked like a hoodie. I've seen that before too, and yeah, and it was all jet black.
Yeah.
But interesting for him, he didn't fear. He didn't have that sense of fear and dread.
Yeah.
So how much?
They'll home, man. They'll come looking for you when you look for them. I think they're curious. I think they go, and that's before I jump to that one. Let me get to this one. Robin says, "How do you tell the difference between pareidolia and what you are actually seeing?" Like the last pic I sent to you. Look at. I say it's very hard to tell in pictures. I guess it's in the eye of the beholder. I got good at seeing what people send. When I go out and I see something catches my eye, moves, and then stops, see it go into a tree, I know I've seen it. It's all about adjusting your eyes, getting out there. That's why we go out ahead of time, and we stress to, we're always out there at least an hour and a half before we start filming. And, we'll either split up, gift, we'll do prayer out there, we'll gift, just walk around, get the energy to change, and pay attention to things. I stress that a lot. We get out, I say that during videos, get out there during the day, when you're looking. It comes natural for me, I guess, what I'm trying to say, after being out there for so long and seeing things move, and you know what you're looking at. Pictures, sometimes, like I said, it gets hard because you're like, wow, okay. But usually when somebody sends something, they'll timestamp it in the video. Like Sue's a good one. She'll send what she sees, the timestamp, and then you could actually take a picture and go back there and go, there you go.
Right, and there's nothing too like this image of this entity that I filmed that you've seen before, and I still think it's a great one. In the middle of the day,
Yeah,
you see it manifesting in black around this tree, or actually it's a telephone pole. Actually, that's what it is. And so, in my neighbor's yard, and believe it or not, and if we go back there now, there's nothing there, and there was never anything there. There's no. But at the time, there was a very large entity, very shadowy entity with almost like cone-like head. Might be the same thing that my buddy upstairs saw and that I saw too. Or if not the same individual, something maybe, I don't know if it's a clan or if it's like people talk about, or who knows how it all works. Yeah, so they manifest, and you will start to figure out. And here's a good example of what I'm talking about. It's coming out. It's surrounding the pole. It's not in the pole.
Yep.
That's a great way of distinguishing a pareidolia from something that's not pareidolia. Something's manifesting out of the tree, out of the rocks, out of the house, where there's something manifesting out, and it's not. You can tell clearly that it's not part of this inanimate object, the pole.
Right. And, Mike, we send so many frequencies and frequencies colliding on this earth from cell phones, people's cell phones, cell towers, radio signals, energy through phone lines, moving parts, cars, engines starting, a jogger running, us just talking, everybody has a different vibration, we put out so many signals that we could be colliding with things that we don't know about. I always say, trust yourself, I guess, Robin. When you see something, trust yourself. Your brain's not going to lie to you, when you're looking at things. I guess that's the best answer. But, could that what you've seen, Mike, against that pole manifest because of two signals colliding, two vibrations, two, you know?
Well, yeah, well, absolutely. Mine, from particular, because I was in that state. I was receptive to receive. You know what I mean? I was
Right.
willing to receive. I wanted to receive. I was interested. It was a time, and I remember that it was February of 2022, and so it was.
Oh, I got a good answer for that one, Stump Jumper.
So I was like really in the mood to witness, to see, and so I wanted to see. So I was, and they knew I wanted to see, and I was like, I was ready to see, and that's so it happened. You know what I mean? But
Right.
like right now, like I told you, like I'm totally dead. I'm like,
Yeah.
if I so like we did the last show that once the last time, I was showing something. I thought it was a face, and it turned out to be actually be pareidolia. That's how disconnected I am with it right now.
Yeah.
But when I'm connected with it,
Back on the frequency, man.
yeah, I mean, I think it's desire. I think it's like,
Right.
do you want to have the interaction? Do you want to have the experience? I mean, are you capable of even handling the experience? Because it's not what. And are you prepared? Are you willing to accept and are willing to so say that your paradigm that somebody can taught you, and you say that how do I say this? So everyone tells you this is how it's supposed to be, and then you find out it's completely opposite of what all the experts in the Bigfoot community and everyone else is saying. Are you willing to accept that and go with that, or are you going to basically be allowed to be gaslighted and have everyone else tell you what it is, what you experience, so you figure it out for yourself? Because
Right.
the entities that I'm feeling might not be anything that the entities that you're going to film or what Jack's filming, based on where you're at and everything. There's so many variables, but if you,
Right.
the entities that you film might look like freaking, I don't know, stickers. Who knows? Maybe giant bugs. Who knows what they'll manifest as?
Right. And that goes along with everybody has their, each researcher, each scientist are going to have their own different experiences. It's awesome when, there's 3, 4, 5 of us out there and we're all getting the same thing. That's data. You know what I'm saying? There's no ifs, ands, or buts. We're all getting the same thing. It's something, and another group can come behind us and go to the same area that we can't, we're in, and may get nothing, and that's where I'm trying to figure out if certain, our wavelengths to someone else's, is it a manifesting thing? Is it, that's a hard pill to swallow, manifesting.
Yeah. That's it. Manifesting, appearing. I think using the energy that's coming out of these trees is a way to manifest, to present themselves. Right. And are you prepared? Are you accepted to see something that doesn't look like a Bigfoot or a human ghost or a dog man or whatever? Are you willing to actually see the eyes? This is an example. I believe this is an entity manifesting out of a tree. You can see the eyes. It's manifesting out of the tree.
Yeah,
you can say otherwise, but and I sensed it, felt it, and it was there, and it was popping out of the tree. And I imagined that it would, if it was nighttime, or if I was in the right space, it might even, the liminal space, as they say, it might have manifested completely and almost would the outline that I've perceived as a Bigfoot. But then again, is it a Bigfoot? Because a lot of these things that I'm filming or have interacted with, I couldn't, and they look like Bigfoot, and I couldn't put my arms around them. You know what I mean? I didn't have that opportunity. They didn't come up to me and shake my hand or knock me across the head with their big paws. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man.
Stump Jumper asks a good one. Why do they usually appear at night? I think it's, for me, I think it's this, you get the same activity during the day. I think at night, what I came up with was they're going to go to a power source. And that is the forest. You know, when activity dies out around the forest, they're going in, you know, like we said, energy, trees give off energy, you know, people stop using their cell phones. You know, people are turning off lights, going to bed. So signals are dying. Energy is stored someplace else and they're going to find it. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think it makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
It's an energy source, in other words, for the tap into. So,
yep.
And it seems to be the higher. So like the best place for me so far to film something is when there's power lines, there's a creek or stream running water, and there's trees.
Yeah. And I love all those three together, man. I am a firm believer, you know, you'll see a lot at night because they're going to be around. They're going to want that energy. Make it like a, you know, docking area for them. But I mean, I've been in the forest during the day and strange stuff. And a lot of people would just, I ran into a jogger the other day. He's jogging through the woods and I'm walking. I was like, hey. And he's like, hey. And then we get a loud tree knock and he's like, whoa, what was that? And I'm like, whoa, what was that? I was like, a tree knock. He is like, oh, maybe a tree fell. Have a good day. And I'm like, oh, we both heard it. He thinks a tree fell. I'm hearing tree knock.
Yes.
You know, but how many people do?
But this, you know, you and I have talked about this, and I argue for whatever it's worth. And I know everyone's, because what's the thing that we all do? We parrot what everybody else says instead of really asking the questions and really being honest about it, and that not we're offending other people. But no one's ever seen a Bigfoot actually take a log or a club and whack the hell out of a tree. So, is it a tree knock or is it a tree pop? Now, there's the things going back to like out of body experiences and, you know, astral projecting and coming out of the body. A lot of times that people mention or talk about when their spirit, that energy, whatever that is, leaves your body. And for some reason, X didn't, I'm not live on X. I have no idea. I thought I did it. Anyways, so the whole thing is, so they'll hear a popping sound when they come out of their body, the flesh and blood, the physical, right? And then go into the ethereal, the spiritual, whatever you want to call it, that thing that's around us, the plasma realm around us. And I would argue, although still subject to proof and is anecdotal, but I think that when we're hearing these knocks, I call them pops. What they do is they're popping out of the damn trees,
right? Because
but I can't prove it any more than someone can prove that it's actually a Bigfoot whacking the tree. But here's the one correlation that we do have, and people hear this thing that we call tree knocks, where things start happening.
Right. Maybe it's them manifesting, and when they're coming into our dimension or whatever you want to say, maybe you don't believe they're a dimensional being. Maybe you believe they're flesh and blood. Maybe you believe it's a tree knock. We can go on both sides. You know, maybe it's a pop when they come into our dimension. Maybe it is a tree knock.
He says here, this is big-headed Martin. Okay. I had an orb as big as a 5 or 6 basketball size. I've heard of this before. Wow. Very big. Hovering above me about 30 feet. It had 4 rings to it. And that's interesting. The rings, that's something I've observed too. The rings, just like trees have rings. And the first ring was spinning counterclockwise. The second was spinning clockwise. We put a lot of effort into this. Let's read this. Did I post that first part? And the clockwise, and the third ring was spinning clockwise, and the fourth ring had a being looking back at me. It was sparkling like sparklers. That makes sense. Static electricity. When I first had my first major encounter with the Crow Indian medicine man, and we saw the two, and the one that crawled up the ravine and got 15 feet in front of me, I keep saying that one had static electricity. And I've seen numerous images and filmed them too of orbs in which there's ring within rings, kind of like Ezekiel in the book of the Bible there, right? For whatever it's worth. Rings. Ring within rings, just like a tree. From my, just like the orb whisperer in Australia, he said he believes that the orbs come out of the trees. And I've also seen orbs come out of people and other objects, whether living or not, or at least to go through the non-living ones. But I think that they use our energy too, just like the tree that uses the energy or the life force of the tree in order to sustain itself and survive. I also believe that they use us too as well. And I'm not talking necessarily about, demonic possession or jinns possession. I'm talking about it's just something that's just part of the reality. And I think that it happens to many of us.
Thank you, Big-Headed Martian. I've heard stories of that.
Oh, it's Martian, not Martin. Oh, I didn't see that. Sorry about that, dude. Or gal. Go ahead, man.
I can't tell. That's an A or an I-O-N. My bad.
It's Martian. It's Martian. That's what it is. I totally missed that. It's I-N.
But I've heard of that. I have heard of that. Many people. There's a lot of people that say they talk about the rings going every which direction, and these rings had eyes. I think that's something about the Bible. I think you're right about that.
Well, there's eyes within eyes. There are multiple eyes, especially when it comes to there in the book in Ezekiel, in the beginning of Ezekiel, with the rings with things with eyes. Yeah. And many times we see these things that look like eyes, and but is it pareidolia? I mean, listen, if you're not prepared, or you cannot accept the quote unquote supernatural, which beginning of 2017, I wasn't ready for it, and at all. And I had to be hit over the head with a sledgehammer to even come to accept it, and be in freaking shock for months, 6 months to a year, right? And then when you find out the truth, folks, here's another part of the gig. You're going to be shitted on by everybody around you, right? Every naysayer, every critic, every know-it-all, everyone's going to come out of the woodwork and try to I believe this is part of the spirit realm too, and because we're all manipulative. We're all so easily manipulated. None of us think those who think that are strong, you're being delusional. From my book, you're not as strong and as powerful as you could be or you should be. I think that we've lost a lot of our sovereignty of power thanks to spending endless time in front of the computer, at work, and television, listening to the freaking radio on the highway. We're so disconnected from reality that it requires a serious life change to have this stuff happen. My book, at least it had to happen to me.
Well, these things that you mentioned, like the radio, these things are part of keeping you disconnected. In my eyes, that's what they want.
Well, absolutely. It's part of the matrix. Absolutely. That's design. That's we all become cyborgs and we don't realize. I don't have I have a cell phone, but I only use it here as like a computer. I don't have it. I don't take it with me. I don't get phones on a cell phone calls and that kind of stuff. And I go out there in society, and I know how disconnected I am right now, right? And I'm watching all these people, and everybody's staring at their phone, staring at their phone, staring at the phone. And I'm just like, we're all prisoners. It depends on how deep the prison that you're in, how enslaved you are. And I'm just like, this technology can be used to set us free, or it can enslave us. And I do, go back to pareidolia and how, like, when you first discover this stuff and you hear all the Bigfoot experts were talking about pareidolia, like they got it all figured out, right? And you'll show them something that we're showing you guys and say, no, it's pareidolia. There ain't nothing. There's nothing. And so you'll show what we just showed in the beginning of the show, what actual pareidolia is, and not something manifesting out of a tree, but actual pareidolia. And they still say it's pareidolia because it's just cognitive dissonance, and nobody who wants to believe how.
Right. Which again, there's so much little known about these things. If they're, interdimensional, that's a whole nother ticket. We don't know what UFOs can do. I mean, but they're flying around and we're accepting it, Ghosts. Yeah. We'll go back to that again. I hate going back to those two things, but we know very little. Are they making us think? Can they shift into like a bush and you see it, but then you don't see it, and then you're like, people are circling the picture. It's right there. Are these things capable of,
what?
You got to think of all possibilities.
Well, they seem to be. Well, one thing is for clear is from our experience, they're capable of being here one moment and gone the next.
Yep.
I don't think it's cloaking like everyone says it is. I think they actually manifest and then dissipate or go back into whatever dimension they come from, type of thing. And dimension is a placeholder until we figure out what that actually means.
There's a lot we don't know. And it's like I said, if everybody got together and put all their evidence together, and
I like what Karen just said here, and I think that's something I believe in. So because of the chaos that's in all around us, especially in the woods and all that I do believe that one of the things I do, just like you said, you close your eyes and try to activate some of your other senses, if you will, because eyes can trick us until we're like really willing to look, pierce into the tree, pierce into the forest, pierce into it, and be willing to see what might manifest. And then are you willing to shit your pants over it and get scared of that?
We did that exact same thing. We done some experiments like that. Taking Mike into the forest, and Mike's like, I'll go blindfolded and I'll sit there in the dark, and he's hearing noises and things going on around him. And I stayed away. I stayed back far enough where I could see him, really little Mike. I could see him really little. That far, but I watched them, and yeah, I mean, when you take away your eyes and use your other senses, it's a whole nother ballgame, and a lot of people can't do it.
Oh, I think because cognitive dissonance comes in. Cognitive dissonance kicks in, and you're like, nope, there's no way now. I'm seeing what I'm seeing. It cannot be. It's impossible. This is equivalent to flying pink elephants in the sky. And
but I'll believe in UFOs and ghosts.
Right. And I believe that when Moses went up to the mountain and seen the burning bush, I believe that he saw an orb burning like fire, like an orb that described what I saw sparkling, and like it's a sparkler. Why not? Here's another thing too. How many times have people had close encounters with these things that we call UFOs, unidentified flying objects, or UAPs, as they want to say now, in which they go through a tree and the trees end up dying or burning up, the land and bushes and that kind of thing. People. There's encounters or claims that the shrub and the grass all caught on fire, So, yeah, why not, man? I have no problem with that. You know,
This is a
especially
good
if we're
one.
talking about energy, static electricity, we're talking about these sort of things. There's no reason why, if the conditions are right, they could literally set a bush on fire.
Yeah.
Which, in a little bit, if it's all right with you, Jack, and you're having fun, I would take a half an hour, or not half an hour, a 5-minute break or so to have a cigarette, to pee, and all that, folks. And then we're gonna, if you want to, let's look at the images of the UFOs and orbs that were filmed during Donald Trump's possible
Yeah, I like this
assassination.
one real quick. Triple X lady says, do you think the trees are specifically placed sometimes as defensive barriers so we will be slowed down and they can move around us in the woods? I don't think trees, but that's just my thought. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not possible or possible, but I think my thought is certain actions, maybe the tree pops, knocks, maybe rock throws, get you to turn this way. Some of the action starts this way and, they're going that way. I mean, that's happened a lot, kind of like the cat and mouse thing. A good question. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure on that one. I'm not, I think humans, I've seen hunters bend trees, you know what I'm saying? Bend limbs or put brush in certain areas to control deer off a path, to lead them their way so they can hunt them.
You see, that's the big dilemma. The more you do this, the more, and this is something that happens a lot, at least in behind the scenes, and that is that you'll have especially old hats, guys have been doing it for decades type of thing, and they're like, these things don't behave like animals, and nor do they behave like humans.
Right.
That's what we're dealing with. So it's something that's a little supernatural, for lack of better terms, is something that can come and go, that can at times cloak itself, at times it's solid and seems to be, it can leave footprints, at times it just vanishes in the midair. At times you'll see somebody, it looks like it's carrying a damn deer. There's the video, it looks like at times it's actually attacked a deer. Or guy says he saw it and attacked a deer, and there's no reason for us not to believe that it didn't attack the deer. But then the problem is, all of this is the evidence, the corroborating evidence. Where did the deer or the carcass, the bones, everything go? Right? Where are they eating this stuff? Their flesh and blood.
Right.
We're still dealing with these things, and we have to get honest about it after freaking 50 some years. It's more than that. A century of investigation, that we're dealing with something we don't. If you are materialistic, scientific minded person like I used to be, because that was what my field of discipline and study was, environmental science and management. And although I wasn't the greatest of scientists, I still had a scientific background. I was conditioned to this scientism type method of thinking, that everything's physical and everything. But then the religious side of things is also, it's spiritual and all that. But could it be something that's in between, or something that what's more likely is that we don't have the right terminology due to society, due to our own limitations, to explain what we're dealing with. Right?
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Which I think, although it doesn't make it win you in the popularity contest, but if you seriously are interested in kind of go pursuing the truth, it's going to force you in lanes of thought and areas you never would have thought of going down, right? Like what you guys are doing now. You're combining the paranormal research along with Bigfoot research and getting different results, or closer. You get closer to it's closer to reality than the storytelling, and there's nothing wrong with storytelling. If that's what you want the storytelling, then that's great. And some people are good storytellers and researchers, and other people are good researchers, and a lot of really good researchers don't want to be telling you the stories.
Yeah, I just want everybody to know the truth, man.
Yeah,
you know, what you see is what you see. There's things out there in this world, whether you believe in Bigfoot or only ghosts. There's things out in this world that there's many of, and
there's so much in those woods. It's so weird. And it's just, even, it doesn't have to be like a patch of woods either. It can be just like a tree line along a ravine and along a road. It could say, if you live out in the country and say that's in your front yard or your neighbor's yard or whatever, if you pay attention to that, you'd be surprised at things you might just find. You don't have to go 2 miles into the woods to have these weird encounters and experiences. And a lot of times these quote unquote tree structures, which we still don't quite know actually is doing it, as much as people don't like to hear that, there'll be a lot of them be on the side of the road in a ravine along a fence line. How did they manage to get there? Why did they get there? I mean, have you guys ever seen that or noticed that, like an X structure or a tree lead or something in the middle of, like, see, there'd be a fence, metal fence, and the other side is a farm field, and that tree structure shouldn't be there. You ever guys seen that? My very first tree structure that I saw with my son, we walked in the woods we just walked in 10 feet and saw one that was about 30 yards into the woods, was a massive teepee structure that we walked into, right? My very first time going. It was on the edge of the woods.
Yeah. We've ran into, not a lot of those. I'm actually getting ready to go back into an area in August that I ran into 7, 8 of those. And I want to get back in this area to see if they're still there, if, they took place when I went last year. I said this before on video. All these places that we go to, a lot of them I have marked on, what happened last year and why we went last year to this area, what happened in those areas. We just don't go, okay, let's go to this area. We don't guess it. It's written down. And then we'll throw in some in the middle, but there's always a reason why we go back and then, 1 month and never go back till next year to the next month, that same month. There's reasons behind that, but 7 or 8 tree structures, teepee structures, makes you think wasn't human in the middle of the forest. And we're not talking like a mile into the forest. We're talking a couple miles into the forest where nobody goes.
Right. So the point is that what you're saying and what I'm saying is that, would you agree, they're everywhere?
Yeah. Just got to find them.
Yeah, you just got to look. Just got to open your eyes. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
There's a good chance there's something going on in the middle of your town, basically, or in the middle of the woods near you. Or there's, some of the best places that I've seen too would be out the farm fields, because where I'm at, there's a lot of farm fields and they have these patches of woods that are maybe 2, 3, 5, 10 acre patches of woods. Some of the best places I've ever seen of tree structures were in the patches of these woods, not in a big forest, but because they're in there and somebody's farmer's parcel of land. It's in a patch of woods that the only time anybody goes in there is to hunt. It's like all of a sudden you go in there and it's, oh my God, there's like a freaking a gymnasium of these tree structures and all that.
Yeah.
So what is actually doing it is still the question that we have to be serious about when it comes to research. Is what is it? Because it's easy to keep on saying the easy answer, but it's not a very thoughtful answer, and it's not an answer that has a really critical answer, is that it's Bigfoot that's doing it, but no one's ever seen Bigfoot do it.
Yeah.
Sasquatch, but
mounds. I stopped messing with them. Reason why Ohio was a big Indian location. There was Indians everywhere. And we run into these mounds. I don't know what they are. And I feel like I shouldn't mess with them. I would never dig into them, but when I say one, when I see one now, I just say a prayer. And
so that brings up another question too, is how much of this are we actually dealing with ancestral spirits?
right.
They're locked still into this. Some have some kind of connection with the creation that we're living in right now, right?
Right.
We call ghosts, we call them poltergeists, we call them spirits. How many of that is actually what we're dealing with? And can we be okay with that?
Yeah.
Because I think that's the thing, is coming to terms and acceptance of what is around us. I mean, you don't have to be like in love with it, or you know what I mean, worship it or do anything like that, but just come to the acceptance that there's something we call high strangeness, and it truly is all around us. And especially the woods is like my observation, my experience has been a grove of trees or in the woods, you're going to have a better chance, I think, of having a supernatural, spiritual, high strange experience, something that's bizarre. You're going to like when a head, like you guys said, we know of people with heads popping out of the trees. We hear things, rocks are thrown at you. Branches are thrown at you.
I'm telling you, that rock that we filmed, it's laying on the ground. There's nothing around it. We're walking up. We see this rock. You remember that? And it just takes off flying.
Yeah.
That's scary, man. That's scary.
Yeah. So you have to ask the question, what did that?
Yeah. That's a scary thought.
Is it just,
Thank you, Peter.
The instinctive, based on conditioning and educate, from the internet, it's a Bigfoot.
No, that one, I don't think that was a Bigfoot.
No, but but the more you do this, the more you spend time, especially you guys, you're spending a lot more time in the woods than anyone is. And you guys are experiencing things, and you come out of the woods and you're like, I don't know what the fuck just happened, but something happened. And I know what it was.
That was me and MT the other night, man. Something, I don't know. I hit something with the laser beam. It's, I want to say fur, skin, lit up white, took off. It looked kind of like it was floating. MT seen it floating, and all on film. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Fun stuff, isn't it? Is it okay if we take a break? If you don't want to,
sure.
I want to, folks. I want to have a
holy water is good to carry with you. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, let's take a quick break and be right back.
I'll play some music here. Let's play Karma Vulture. I like this. I played it many times. You'll see the video. Just relax, chill out. It's a good song, anyways.
Yep.
Let's do
more questions for us.
Le Marada. What's up? Where am I?
Awesome.
I need to do something about this green screen stuff, but I need to get a green screen, I guess. I kind of like the ghosty.
Yeah, you gotta keep on fading in and out.
I know, it's just like a ghost.
They are the Ohio 4. That is awesome.
So, another example of what I believe not to be pareidolia, before we get into this, shoot, man, look at everyone just rolling and rolling and rolling. Sorry if I missed everything there. These are examples of what I believe to be very Bigfoot-ish looking things, but are popping out of the trees. They're not part of the trees.
Yeah, I see that
face right here. You can almost see the eyes, kind of thing. You can see it. I almost see a hand right there. You got another one right here with eyes, and you get this face one right here. So I don't think this is pareidolia, but someone else thinks otherwise, then so be it. I mean, what's the point? You know, there's no point in really arguing about it. Go find out for yourself if it's real or not.
Right. In the West Texas desert, UFOs, orbs are common sightings. We watch the ground for rattlesnakes and the sky for UFOs and orbs. Yeah, many explained things, unexplained. I believe it, man. It's weird. It's weird how the night comes alive, you know. A guy told me long ago, we turn on the lights to keep the bad things away, you know. Not just animals. But I believe that's true. We lock our doors, you know. The clock time sets that mode for us. You know, at a certain time, you turn on the lights. You lock your doors, close your windows.
So one of the things, bro, that I don't know if you heard much about it, but started coming up on, especially on Twitter here on X. Let's see who's all live right now. Alex Jones, high level Pentagon. Sources confirmed deep state attempted to kill Trump. All right, Alex. But let's go with the think tank. UFO sphere spotted during presidential assassination attempts.
Oh, look at that.
It's right there. I mean, there was a report of a drone that was being used by supposedly Crook, which is an ironic name, Crook. But
yeah, they did have drones up. Secret Service did.
So it could be a drone, but then again, it might not be. I don't know if that's a drone or not. Could be a drone.
Hey, when you're unsure, that's what I say. Could be, could not be.
Something's going on there. They're saying this is happening. Where's the footage from the drone? You know what I mean? That's what I'd like to know.
Right. Why is the drone way back there? I mean, someone could say, you know, hey, it's flying around crowds, but
it's a pretty big drone based on the distance.
Yeah, and that's far away. That's a good distance away. But see, if it is a UFO, we're getting comfortable enough, which 70s, 80s, even into the early 90s, people be like, yeah, UFO, conspiracy theory. But now, you know, the world's okay with it. You know, nobody's freaking out anymore. The government's okay with it. The government says, yeah, it's there's UFOs flying around. Why are they here? You know, that should be the question for those investigators, the people that investigate the UFOs. Why are they here?
Yeah, what are they? That's even a better question. What the heck are they? Because it's easy to say they're mechanical contraptions, but that hasn't thoroughly been proven, at least for us, the lay person, the people on the, you know, I mean, people have seen things that look like mechanical objects and that, but that doesn't mean that, here's another example.
Yeah, like the point in our researching is
fast moving. So here's one of the things too, is it's very fast. It's extremely fast moving. So is it a drone? Why would they be using a drone that's this fast? Video of fast moving UFO during the attempt assassination. Trump, this is the iconic flag that a lot of people say looks like an angel or something, but when it was
why are they here? Why are UFOs here? Look at that. Bam, that's not a drone. I mean, it could be.
It's going back and forth, but you can see that it's, you know, it could be. Could have been chopped it up, make it look faster than it is. I don't know. To me, it looks too fast the way he's playing it. But what the heck do I know, right? Because I wasn't there.
Me neither. I'm at the point in our research, I want to know why. That's what I'm looking for off screen. You know, when we're not filming, I'm looking for is the why is this happening out in the forest.
So here's an example. There's no way it's a drone. 4 orbs and a craft. And of course, I'm not going to be able to blow it up, am I? I'm going to have to copy this. Sorry for this, folks. You're not going to be able to see this, but I'll do this. But you can see there's the craft. And then he's talking about there's 4 orbs, and there is a video out there of these orbs descending and moving. So here's another question. Why were the orbs in the UFO, if it is a UFO and orbs, why were they there during the attempted assassination of President El Trumpo?
There's a lot of questions.
The Trumpstar. trump card.
I mean, is it the case that the cameras were in the right area? You know, at the right time?
It seems to be always the case.
Yep.
Now this obviously has been messed with. So let's see if we can find it.
That's why I say more cameras in the forest, more cameras. That's going to be the way.
Yeah, and definitely the forest. I mean, you guys filmed something that looked just like an orb. Although, you know, when it comes to the drone issue, it's going to become more and more of a problem, especially after the past several years of drone technology and how it's being easily used. And it's going to become more and more our lives. And this is just a reality of things. And so we're going to have to start thinking about that, be very conscious about the fact, are we filming a drone or not?
Right.
So this is this, and I filmed an object like this too, very similar. This is one of the times when I went with my friend, my buddy Eric. We haven't done anything lately together, but we went out one night, and this is what was above, right there above them.
Wow.
Of course, that's where it is. But when magnified, this is what it looked like. Then we have this strange light anomaly too, which is not from the movement of the camera, but then we go to this thing, your classic kind of saucer-shaped thing. Now he claims these are orbs. These could be some kind of water on the lens, maybe. I don't know.
Who knows? Only the person that took it knows. That's why, you know, we all have to be careful. Even me, when I'm researching things, you know, looking for if somebody had seen this, we all got to remember, you know, everybody's opinion is man-made. You know, you got to weigh things out. You know, see them for yourself. That's why I love the camera pointed out, never on me. You know, you get to see it for yourself. It's, you know, that's my preference. But even my opinion is man-made. And I, you know, when I say something that nobody else is saying, I always try to say, this is my opinion, even if the guys don't agree with me, it's my opinion. The guys might think something different, but it's just my opinion. And I think that's how researching should be done.
Just yeah, it's just opinion until, and even if it's always going to be.
We can prove it.
That's right. Gosh darn it, why can't I prove it? So this guy, he's just moving it around, but I don't know what he's doing there with this. That's questionable. Oh.
Yep. Yes, Karen. Yeah, some things it's hard to explain. It just off the top of my head, what my brain is thinking it was, like if I say, oh, that was a orb. Maybe it wasn't. It's just my brain.
It's one of those things, isn't it? It's always second guessing your experience because it's.
Yep.
What references do we have?
Yeah. I can't imagine, back in 1748, people trying to explain what they're seeing, not knowing what UFOs were, but they're calling it a, fiery dragon in the sky all lit up,
Now, this is an interesting one here. This is some objects were filmed in the sky. This one, if you pay attention, it looks like there's more than.
Thank you, Karen.
Right there. See that?
Oh, yeah.
Is it a plane or is it three orbs? What is it? It doesn't look like a plane anymore. It kind of disappears from two.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
There's two objects.
Obviously, somebody's filming it, taking pictures of it. So it's something. So there's more than one person taking pictures.
Yeah, I think this is accidental too. This is not like intentional. This is after the fact they saw it, right? I think.
Right.
I don't think they're like aiming their cameras up in the sky
to look at a drone.
But maybe they were. Who knows? It's high strangeness that day, and there was a lot of weirdness.
Yeah.
Things were not very normal that day.
Yeah.
Do I want to? I don't want to see that.
I think I could, T-Mac. That's a good question, T-Mac. And I even question myself. I always say, if we stopped doing this today and we had to turn in all the evidence that we got and give it to a jury or the government, would it be enough for them to say, wow, maybe not even cryptids, but say there's something going on in the forest, with the portal video? Well, I don't even know if it's a portal because no one can say anything. It's just what I'm calling it.
But definitely high strangeness. My God, the temperature differentiation. The temperature differentiation.
Yeah, absolutely. But you take all that and you hand it to the government and say, look, something's going on. Here's it. Here's the proof. You tell me what it is. What do you guys and girls know about this in the government? I think there'd be enough. That's just me. That's not everybody. That's not MT saying, maybe MT's goes, I think we need more. Or Trapper might say, we need more. But I think there'd be enough to definitely put up a good argument.
There's high strangeness in them damn woods.
Yep. I put that portal video up on Twitter and they took it down.
What?
They took it down, man.
Why would they take it down? What was there a music or what? Why would they take it?
They said that
it was clickbait. What?
They said it's clickbait.
Well, who cares if it's clickbait? That's not their business to take it down. Is that now a new thing? They're taking down it on YouTube because what they claim to be clickbait.
I put in a ticket to fight that because I didn't even say. I just said, can anybody tell me what this is? And it's just a couple minute video of it. And I just said, can anybody tell me what this is? And yeah,
what we're gonna have to do, bro. We're gonna have to get serious about this, and we're gonna have to work collectively together as a group. Hey, what's going on, Diesel? And start our own platform, our own website that they can't take down our stuff. You know what I mean? And we can invite other credible or serious researchers to be part of it as well. And so, that's something I'll think about doing. You know what I mean?
Because I think it's unfair not to be able to put that out there, man.
If they did that, if they did seize the AI, and this is the problem with AI. AI is going to be an absolute nightmare for all of us. And right now, it seems really cool with the artwork and all that kind of stuff, but it's going to be an absolute nightmare because all they have to do is put in one word, right, to search for, right? And if you, what was the title of it? Did you?
Can anybody tell me what this is? That's it.
Was there like
it wasn't like I said?
Was there a description that you said it was well, how come they didn't take our video? Take down our video. We were specifically talking about it as if it was a possible.
Oh, I think they put a nail in it. I know they did for that.
But I know they've demonetized me. I can't make any money, so.
That video, when it first got released, was spiked real high. I was like, yes. And then like 2 days after that, it plummeted and is just sitting there like this. No spikes, no nothing. So it's out of the algorithm. It's not even in the algorithm. It's just sitting there. I think it's unfair that that video is not put out there. I think that's absolutely proof of something. I don't care if it was a star anomaly, a shooting star fell, and we just caught a glimpse of the heat mass, or however, explain it. That's what I want. I want somebody to explain it.
Well, there's definitely it shouldn't have been taken down.
Yeah. Well, I fought it, so hopefully they said it's clickbait, and hopefully I put in there that it wasn't. There was nothing in the caption, nothing. There's no way in 1 minute they could have watched that video. It's unfair.
There's one of those things that were filmed around dot.
Oh yeah, Triple X, you're right. AI is going to leave everybody, and I think that was done on purpose for that purpose.
Oh, it's going to censor the living hell out of us. It's going to be so hard to find the truth. I can tell right now, folks, if you got the money, start collecting a book collection, because they'll be able to edit our freaking books as well.
Yeah. Now you see that the people, the ghost writers for singers that had passed away, AI can take what those ghost writers are writing now and turning it into that person's voice, even though they passed away. That's crazy. No honor, and
And here's the thing: of our experience the past 4 years, especially when it came to the scamdemic, they're going to, if you challenge the official narrative, you'll be bananaed. You would be whitewashed, or I know you will. It'd be shadow banned and blacklisted, because that's what's happened to me for just challenging the official narrative. And so, if you say if the thought police decide that they think that Bigfoot's bullshit, right? They can just say it's done. If anybody says anything about Bigfoot, it's false information, it's a lie, it's deception, and or whatever they're going to call, whatever they want to call it. And next thing you know, we can't post stuff anymore on the internet without it. Consequences happen, and it will happen, especially with the central banking digital currency and AI voice and face recognition, and the what is called the credit score system that they're going to have. They'll penalize you if you're talking about something they don't want you to talk about.
Right.
I know guys that they can't even get into their bank accounts because they post stuff that they didn't like. And it was true. It's a factual, historical, something very provable. And because it went against the official narrative, it's happening in the United States right now, where they can't even get into their bank accounts.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. And T-Mac, you're right. He says, as we get more information, it seems like we know less. Or being able to put out the information,
Which I think, as far as the human side, when it comes to the oligarchs and the controllers of this matrix, that's exactly what they want. They want us, just like the old police song, too much information running through my brain. And that's exactly what they want to do. But information does not mean knowledge. It just means information. So we can regurgitate a whole bunch of whatever somebody else wants us to parrot, but that doesn't mean that we know the truth. You know what I mean? And it's real. And then we have to ask ourselves about this creation in this world. This becomes the loosh farm thing. What kind of creation do we live in where there's so much confusion, so much speculation, so much guesswork that you're just like, what kind of place is this?
Yeah.
That designed us with a mind, acquisitive mind, to ask questions. We got to design the bodies terribly designed for this creation that we live in. If we're honest about it, 5,000 and going genetic defects. The spine is absolutely a disaster. Our bodies you're out in the woods all the time. Look at all the things you need to wear, put on, boots,
protection, boots.
Even if it's say we go 200 years when there were indigenous people walking around, it's still, although they had, I mean, you would have to, he had huge calluses on their feet, and for one thing, huge, I mean, stuff that you can't even imagine. And then on top of that, it's just like the fact is, like a Bigfoot is, what we know as a Sasquatch is designed to live in this creation. We are not. We need clothing, we need shelter, we need all sorts of things in order just to survive the elements.
Yep. Yeah, what if they're curious and coming out, out of their dimension, looking at us going, what are they?
I think so. Or maybe they're coming out and they're saying, what the hell's these are some screwed up things. They're some strange creatures, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I mean, we're not able to, if you think about it, if we had no stores and we had no weapons, we would be plant eaters. We couldn't chase nothing down. We can't catch fish with our hands. We can't swim as fast as fish. We're not going to chase down a deer. You know what I'm saying? It's just
that's a very good question. Where did we actually come from? The spark of life for human beings. Because you say it's Africa, is that the case? Really? I mean, there's a lot of, at this point, just like every other thing that it ever told us, as it's been challenged, it's it gets, the history keeps on being rewritten by the victors. So in 100 years, they're going to say probably life came from Antarctica or whatever. You know what I mean? Or came from some island and stuff specific or specific. I can never say that word. And you know what I'm saying? So, what is the truth? We seem to be like a cross between, like that we lived in like a forest / maybe fish eating type. Not, how do I say? No, that's not even right. Where did we come from? We're designed terribly. And you say about plants, then think about that. Like our brains is 90. It's like the vast majority of it is just cholesterol. We need lots of fat for your brain to function properly.
Yeah, and our body's 90% water or whatever you want to say. Yeah, I mean, say that we couldn't start a fire. Say that we had no possibilities to start a fire and no possibilities for weapons. We would have to teach ourselves. We would have to hibernate in winter.
One thing for certain, there could not be 8 billion people in the world because of that. So.
Yeah, I mean, what if they are? What if their dimension, they're looking at us just like we're looking at them?
I think they're the ones doing the looking, and we're just getting sneak peeks. They're paying attention to us 100%.
Yeah. What if, when we're out there, we're tapping into the other part of our brain, and we're tapping in areas where we could see things. And that, I guess that goes along with tuning yourself in, and
I mean, everything's so weird about it. So let's look about how we're created. So if there is reincarnation, or if there's life before life, we have a total amnesia. Every single one of us. There's some people that have little glimpses of it, but nothing substantial to give us definite answers of things in previous lives. So we're all suffering from amnesia if we believe that there's life. And then on top of that, let's think about how early childhood development.
Correct, DC.
Early childhood development in the first 7 years were so pliable. This is the reason why religious folks and people in cults and all that want to get you the first 7 years of life. The state wants to, because we are like a sponge. We suck up everything, but we don't understand. We can't. There's no critical thinking. We just suck up anything. Yeah. It's the truth, right? And so you have all of these people, billions of people walking around in La La Land, and it takes freaking a half a century to break free from all the mind control, all the manipulation, all the indoctrination we all suffer from, right? So what kind of creation is that? Why is it that we think about this, that for the most part, even in Aboriginal societies, that's the few that still exist to this day, that there are still feral, if you will. The children, it takes them years in order to be able to learn the skills necessary to survive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Everybody in chat is so correct. I love that's awesome.
So we got this. So whereas the average quote unquote mammal, because supposed to be mammals, right? The average mammal is born, popped out of mama, and within about a month or two can survive. Most of them can survive on their own without their mom for within months, right? And they just know how to survive, and they have everything that necessary to get through the elements and the environment to reproduce and all that. We, on the other hand, have so many freaking flaws. It's just like something or something decided when they designed us that they designed a creature that was meant to be enslaved,
A worker.
Yeah, that was not meant to prosper in this and fit into this place, and that we're just here are we just a farm, the loosh farm art? Because the loosh, if you look about Bob Monroe and his work, when he had his out of body experiences, he was taught from the other side these entities, these beings that one being he called BB, like Netanyahu, BB.
Yeah.
His nickname, and he had explained to him why the real reason why we're here, and it's to produce loosh. That is through our emotions, through our feelings. The number one form of loosh, the purest form of loosh, is actually love. So our suffering or pain and everything, these entities, these parasitic entities, feed upon, trade in. And that the reason why we're here is that we're all suckered into this place and trapped in this place, agreed for whatever reason. But there's zero. The people say we're here to learn lessons, but there's no evidence of that. Reincarnation, they say, as far as karma goes, that when you say you're an evil person, you're going to come back and pay off your karma debt. But no one ever remembers the previous life or what their debt was or what the lessons they learned, right? We all come
not a high percent of many.
Well, if they do say it's after the fact, many years, or it's very limited in what they actually were taught or told from the other side. I'm not saying that people are not revealed things, but even those people that pass on and go to the side, say in a near-death experience, most of them will say, you know what, it was amazing, and didn't want to return. All this interaction, all this great feelings and emotions that we felt with these beings and spirits and all that. But no, you got to come back, and when you come back, you're not going to remember anything.
Right.
That's in your.
Thank you.
But you have a special mission, right? Most of them are told to have a special mission. Is that from you? Is that for you, bro? You just get yourself a $50 bill. Nice.
Thank you, Victoria.
So it's a special mission.
Such a slippery slope. There's just oh man, how you say it? There's just so many possibilities,
So we got to base on what we do have and what experience we have, and we're filming all that kind of stuff. Like I'm filming. If you guys look closely at this collage of images, you're going to see entities popping out of the trees for real. Some that look like aliens, some that look like masks. They got wearing masks. Some that look like Bigfoot. Some that look like ghosts. Something, and they're and we're also, there's people, which I don't have because it's not mine. I haven't filmed that, but people have filmed entities popping out of people, like something that looks like a dog man attached to a person crawling, popping off their shoulders. We got videos out there of guys who get in fights in the street, and all of a sudden this big spirit pops out of them the size of a freaking Bigfoot. Are these?
Yeah, I've seen that.
If we can get, try to think outside the box a little bit here. Is it possible that what we're dealing with when it comes to Sasquatch and Bigfoot, that we're dealing with these interdimensional, ultradimensional beings that somehow use the trees like a highway, as we talked about before, right? The trunk, the roots, the trees, they're all like a highway, or which these beings traverse and travel. And it could be that they're also using us, and they're all using us, our energy, the loosh that we produce, all of us produce, because we're all walking loosh factories, and our emotions, our feelings, our anger. Anger is a huge one, right? Violence, killing, all these things they feed upon, and they put us in these terrible positions, or a lot of these situations that happen in order to feed upon the loosh that we produce, right? Then we go to the other side. It was mentioned earlier about the light, and I'm at the thinking right now that the light is trapped. When we follow that light, it leads us right back into this place again, or something similar to be recycled in this place, in which we go through another round of suffering and pain to produce more and more loosh. I know it sounds just dark. It's a very dark, it's a black pill type thing. It's really sounds negative, but think about it. What is the real purpose of here, right? I mean, if people, I don't know if you're religious to say to believe in Jesus or in God. Okay. It's okay for great.
Me? Oh, I'm religious. I believe in the Lord up above, man.
So, okay, so you believe in that, but then, so that's fine. But so in the meantime, it's all this pain and suffering and what is, people rationalize things, but we really can't, we don't have definite answers to these things. You know what I mean? We don't. Yeah. We have a lot of stories. Is what we don't. In other words, we should have. All of us should have like a definite download at some time in our life where the purpose of the purpose of us being here is made clear, and there's no confusion. We hear all this justification. Well, you didn't do enough. You didn't have enough faith. Well, I had a lot. I mean, I had a lot of faith. I mean, you're talking about the guy who read the Bible all the way through twice online, the New Testament 6 times online. I was Mr. Jesus 100%. And I'm not saying for you to do it or not do it. I'm just saying everyone's path is different and everything goes through all this stuff. And it's like, what is the purpose of all this?
That's something that lives in all of us. That's something that only you could figure out. I could figure out. Everybody watching can figure out.
Or do we figure it out? That's the thing. Or do we think we do it out? You know what I mean? Because at one time I really believed it was, and we're not going to have a religious debate here, but if you want to have it in private, I'm more than happy to do it. And it was like, yeah, there's something really going on here with what's going on even with Christianity. So, it was talk about the afterlife. The other side, why is it so vaguely taught, even in Christianity? With hundreds and thousands of books about angels and demons and all that kind of stuff. It's based on a few half verses that are private interpretations or somebody else's imagination, or something's telling them that it's true, right? But then there's all this contradiction, right?
Right.
It's huge. There's huge issues here. So I'm sorry about all this negativity. Just to bring it all back to is these entities, these beings, these different things that look like aliens, maybe Bigfoot, maybe whatever it may be. Are they the reason why that they're around us? I mean, something had in our creation, everything's feeding on something. So it's very arrogant to think that something's not feeding on us.
Right. Right.
What evidence do we have really that we're the top of the food chain as far as the universe, what's all around us? Is there something else?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we can't say we're at the top of the food chain when you have aliens flying around.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That puts us down a step. Us as humans, we want to feel like
and by the way, I am I'm not confused about Jesus. I really just one of those things. If you want to talk, I mean, I can tell you what the real story is, but you'll hate my guts, so I don't want to.
Yeah. Another day. I'll call you in. We'll talk about that. I love that.
So, but the thing is, if even I know me saying that there's times when, because of belief system, right? This is where the loosh starts raising, right? People get annoyed, get angry, get upset over a belief system, and we're willing to kill each other, call each other names, say all sorts of things.
Yeah, that's why
I really think, there might be a point to what Bob experienced on the other side, that maybe that's the reason why we're going through all this stuff, is because we produce all this loosh. It's
Yeah.
for these entities to feed on, and they trade in it, they live on it, and that's how they're harvesting us. It's an
Yeah.
idea, at least, but I haven't heard anything better yet. So
PC, real quick. PC, I'll pray for you, man. Hope it's nothing.
what's
Hope it's
going
nothing.
on?
He says, just found out 3 days ago I've got a 2-inch mass in my chest, so I need prayers. Definitely pray for you, brother. God bless.
Where's he at? Where's the message at?
Let me see if I can show it. There you go.
Yeah, show it.
Right there.
Well, let's pray for him, man. Let's just do it. What's the name? PC?
Yep.
Oh, Reverend PC. Hey, it's the creator, super God of super force, Heavenly Father, the creator of all things. If it be, hey, make it happen.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it, God, make it happen.
Yep.
Make this mass thing go away and whatever's going on, and he'll PC. There's enough suffering, enough pain in this world. There's no need for this. Make it happen. Some people say you can't do this, but hey, listen, I have a right to demand it. Make it happen.
Yep. Take it away.
Take it away, man. If it's the name of Jesus, Allah, whatever it may be, if it's whoever you believe in, Reverend, and make it happen. And I mean that.
We'll pray for everybody.
Absolutely.
Oh, man. God bless.
I used to be soft with my prayers. I'm no longer soft with prayers. I listened to all these experts, reverend pastors, priests. Everyone say this is how you do it, and I'm like, you guys are not being very successful with your prayers. I'm just going to just say it the way it is. I demand and grow, get healed. And he goes, "Who am I to ask that? I have every damn right to ask that and demand it." And so does everyone else here. It's not because I'm anything better or special than anybody. We all deserve better.
Yes, we all do. Pray for y'all, man. I hope you make it. Chemo, man, it's a lifesaver, but and I watched my family go through it.
Oh, there's, hold on a second. He's going through chemo, cancer. I'm going to share something. Hold on a second. I'm going to block myself and right back when you're talking to him, because this might be a suggestion, and this might be the answer to help. Hold on a second.
All right. Yeah, thank you all for being here tonight. Bless. Did say we'd be covering a lot. Yeah, it's weird to think we're being out in the forest and getting these things to interact with you. It's a weird thought, but I want the whys. It's awesome filming these things and getting the evidence that we're getting, but I'm now searching for the why is this happening. We do a lot of film.
This is for PC, and I please take the chance and do this. This has been going around for the past couple of years now, and it's lots of case studies. So this is actually working. It's curing people's cancer, and it's called Bendazole. You get it in a powder form, and I'll put it in here. And it is an anti-parasite thing, and it's
Good night, Tracy.
And this is not medical advice, but I recommend trying it, because I know several people now who have tried it, and it helped reverse it without major surgery. And it's not expensive. You can get this stuff for like $30 online. So, and try that and see if that really helps reverse things, cleans it up. You got nothing to lose. If I spelled it right, FenBendazole. Okay, this is for you, PC, and anyone else. Check this out. Look this up. Look up Look up um, and how it's treating people using it for treating cancer. I know a lot of people. Well, I don't know. I know several people that it's their swear by. They took that stuff and it reversed their cancer. So try it, White, because hopefully you don't have to go through all that invasive stuff. So and of course,
all right, though, man.
What's the other? What's the other thing?
Something to eat.
Oh, you had enough, bro?
Yep. I hope we covered a lot, man. It was a good chat.
There was something else I wanted to talk about, but I can't remember. Well, back to this whole thing about the
D-Row. Thank you for being here with us.
As far as once again, pareidolia, start thinking about stuff. Think about outside the box. Think about things that are popping out of the trees and not stuff that are in the bark or in the leaves and all that. You can find all sorts of things. You start. I film things that I don't even know what to call them. I got to do my book before I pass away. So, but anyways, they're out there. There's a lot of things. It's not just Bigfoot. Think outside the box. Remember what pareidolia is. Their example of what pareidolia is something like this.
Yep. It's all in the eye of the beholder.
But the thing is, with the spirit realm, you can see there's this difference. They're not the same thing. They're something that's right. They're in front of the inanimate objects. That is pareidolia. That purse that looks like a frowny face, that's what they're saying pareidolia is. What that tomato or potato with its or whatever it is, basically it's a gourd or whatever it is. It's a little big for a potato, but it's a face, the pot, the building, the bark, the outlets. This is what pareidolia is. So when they try to tell you that this next to it is pareidolia, I argue, because I have it's on film. You can see it on my YouTube channel. I have my film. It's moving. It's there. I filmed it. It's jet black. It's right in front of the edge of the woods, and it's not there. It shouldn't. It's something else other than a tree.
I agree with you.
So what's new with you before we go? What's the new adventures that you got going on?
I got a video dropping tomorrow at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This was the live hunt area. This is what went on the days prior to the live hunt we just had. And you'll see the reason why we went back there for a live hunt. It's a lot of people say they want to see what we do when we're out there investigating, not just the live hunts. They want to see what we're doing. This is kind of what happened to make us go back for the live hunt. So you'll get to see that, and you'll get a better day look of the area. So what was going on during the day, what happened that night, what led us to go back for the live hunt. So very interesting.
What you guys are doing, and what I recommend as well, is keeping your mind open. Keep your mind outside. Try to get out of the box. Stop just expecting to see Bigfoot, but think of other things. Start using other approaches. I mean, like for me to film stuff and get clear images is during the day, whereas at night I get more like the eye shine, orbs, that kind of stuff, the shadowy things. But it's up to you what you do and how you do it, but it's just try different things. And and Jack has proven it, and others who've I've talked to try the same thing. By putting your camera up into the trees, you're going to start filming things instead of always looking on the ground for footprints or for tree structures. Start looking in the trees.
Yeah,
which I don't see a lot of the Bigfooters doing that.
I know it's hard during the middle of summer. You got a lot of greenery in the canopy, and you can't see high up. And I show that during this video coming up. I also point out too, which I got a lot of messages on. You guys are the only thing eye shine you're seeing is deer. Well, I do an experiment, and I had my flashlight on, and you can walk up on a deer with a flashlight. You can almost walk up to the point where you can see the body. They're looking at you. Most of the time we see deer and they're laying on it. They'll just lay on the ground, baby deer, stuff like that. So you'll see the difference between deer eye shine and what eye shine we're talking about.
So before you bail out on me, bro, let's talk about eye shine. So this is in a cemetery that I filmed last fall. I don't know, 11 months ago. Now, in the very up in the sky, now you're going to tell me that's a deer. You ain't going to be no freaking deer that's going to be staring at you. Notice the cemeteries, what are they called? The tombstones and all that.
Yep.
See the trees.
Yep. And that's why I don't go into graveyards.
No, I filmed this in my backyard. I filmed
okay.
You know what the difference was, though? That everyone else is doing? They're looking down here.
Yep.
It's up in, they're above us. Whatever these things are, they're above us, they're around us, they're surrounding us. Yeah. And it didn't do anything to me. It just.
I'm like, if those are, if they're interdimensional beings, walls and that hard structures don't exist then. We covered this. If they're in the second, third dimension, and even higher, they don't see walls. They can walk through walls.
Well, they might see something different than what walls are. The outer body, people that have the outer body experience, they talk about how the walls have a different kind of character to them. Sometimes they're like much of dimmer color, maybe not as bright as your walls would normally be. Maybe they're more of yellowish or bluish type of tint to them, that kind of stuff. So who knows exactly what they're seeing, but it's clearly what they can do is go through trees, pop out of trees, go through tombstones, come out of the ground, go through us.
Yeah.
And there is reports of a Bigfoot, of somebody that actually had a Bigfoot, literally. And whether you believe it or not, go talk to M.K. Davis. You don't believe me, folks. This person, they swear to God that the Bigfoot went through them. He was on a path. They saw the Bigfoot on the edge of the path. And the Bigfoot then decided, the guy started walking fast, running away from it. And the Bigfoot, I guess, have either chased it. Yeah, I think it just basically went the same direction and went right through the guy. And he swears to God, just like I swear to God, I saw a Bigfoot pop out of a tree. And he swears to God, it looks like a Bigfoot. So whether anybody likes that or not, you can call it woo, you can call it whatever the hell you want to call it. It's not going to change the reality that these things are happening. You can insult people all you want. You can go through your cognitive dissonance. You can call people all sorts of names, or you can find out for yourself that this stuff is happening. Right. And, you just got to put. See, here's another thing, too, about this stuff. Is like all the time that you're putting in, Jack, and I did, too. People think that if they go out in the woods for 2 hours, they're supposed to get something. You might. If everything's all right, if you're right, if the things are all right, but it might take you years for that experience to happen, depending how basically what your issues are. I mean, a lot of people are. Like right now, I'm really dark. You could probably tell, I'm really dark because of the things that I've spent the past 4 months, focusing once again on what's going on in Gaza, what's going on in Ukraine. I'm seeing real evil and what evil is people's doing. And I'll be honest with you, this is how I'm not these I can't do multiple things. I have to focus on the one thing and let go of all the rest, because if it gets too cluttered, it's too much information, right? So on
the bad, man.
But sometimes I think for me, I'm starting to realize why I needed to do it. I needed to see pure evil. so that when I'm looking at next time around, I can come to the terms that when I'm looking at those two eyes in the sky that's above me, or that thing that pops out of a tree, that I could have true comparison. Because I mean, I've seen kids with their heads blown off, arms blown off. I mean, children, and the things I've seen. And although I'm not there, the images are still in my head, and I can still feel it, recognize, resonate with me. I'm just like, okay, that's pure evil. If these things aren't doing that to me, what am I afraid of?
Right.
Really, what am I afraid of? Why am I? Is it really that I'm just afraid of what other people are going to think about me because I'm seeing these things, I'm filming these things, I'm sharing these things? Is that what the real fear is? Is the fear?
The fear is not knowing. You go throughout your daily life, maybe working 9 to 5, walking your dog, kissing your wife, husband. When things change that are not normal, that's what you fear. You don't question it, you fear it. And then you come up with a conclusion that go, okay, it was this, that, or that. Okay, that's what it was. And on I go back to my regular daily thing. It's different when you put yourself out there.
Right. And then you have to go through the experience. And
yep.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's not going to affect anybody. I mean, I go out the porch and have a cigarette. There's many times I've like, is something watching me? Do I feel this? My spider sense is fooling me. Is it just because is it a memory, neurological memory reflex from the past that because the hair in your back of your head, your neck will stick out, but then you look into, did anything happen to me? No. Is it psychological at this point, or is there really something that's next to me or by my porch? Which, by the way, I do have eyes. I could show you guys some excellent image of two eyes staring back at me while I'm sitting on the porch. It's pretty damn close. Yeah. I think it's like you're saying, it's the unknown. It's the fear of the unknown and the indoctrination that we've all been given through religion and through the media and through television, and even through people who call themselves masters, whether they're warlocks or medicine men and women. I mean, they don't got it all figured out too. You know what I mean? I think we get a lot of bad advice to each other, and we have a lot of bad advice in us. You know what I mean? In other words, our understanding of our reality is so skewed based on misinformation, disinformation, and just flat out confusion that we end up operating in kind of this bubble of BS. I don't know what else.
That's why you gotta get proof for anybody to believe it. And I just asked this question the other day. Ask the guys, even if we got Bigfoot on film, how many people would be like it's fake? Even if you put the proof right around.
We already know that 50% right off the bat are going to say it's fake, and the other 50 are going to challenge you in one way or the other. And even then, those that say they believe you are still going to have doubt in their hearts and in their mind because they weren't there just to have the experience that you had. That's where I think this is one of those things that it's necessary that you go out and have your own experience.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that's going to make a difference.
Right.
And I know there's a lot of people and researchers say I've spent 30. I know some. There's a lot of people say I've never seen anything, never seen a Bigfoot, never. But you know what? When you look at their approach to the research, and you start, well, I went and visited the location where there was said Bigfoot showed up. I'm like, that's not how it works, man.
You're right. You can't go one day and then.
No, you're not. Even that. It's like. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying it's not part of the research that you do that, but the experience is going to happen when you create it to happen. And it can happen in a patch of woods a mile, like for me, a mile away from your sitting.
Right.
It could be 100 miles away. Or it could be a place and that no one ever said there was a freaking Bigfoot, never a mention or report of a Bigfoot ever happening. and I know that because I had my own experience. If I can have it, that means you guys, everyone else can have it. The thing is, you have to get outside the box. You have to go do it for yourself.
Right.
You got to go create it, make it happen.
Right. You know how long it's taken to get activity? And like I said, we don't get it everywhere.
Nope.
I've been in hundreds of hours out in the forest, man. Out in forests, and literally hundreds of hours. And half that had nothing happen. It's only been when I've continued to go back to that spot, then something started to happen. Like, it didn't trust me. Like, you know, I'm not going to show you myself now. No way. You know, but on the fifth time I went back, something started to happen. You know?
Isn't that interesting? You created the situation, right?
Right. Yep. And you know, I don't know if it's manifestation thing, or, you know, I got a lot to say about this manifestation thing coming up. I got a lot to say.
Good. What are you going to say, man?
Got to get more data.
The manifestation. I mean, there's so many manifestations. What manifested?
Yeah.
You know, what was it? What were those eyes? What was that face? What was that shadowy being? What was that? You know what I mean? Was it a Bigfoot? Was it something completely different? Was it a dog man? Because here's part of the power of suggestion too. That's causing a dilemma, and I think really seriously adversely affecting research. There's a gazillion made-up images, artistic renderings of Bigfoot, dogmen, and all that, and everyone assumes that that's the real image of what these things look like.
Right, and it's man-made, and it's crazy.
When really, yeah, it's just some very talented artists that just made up some stuff.
Right.
And made sure that Bigfoot was, you know, pleasant looking, and or Dogman was really scary looking, or vice versa. You know, it's artist conceptions, make believe, right?
Yeah.
And, but it's not. My experience has been these things. I mean, I have times like the one time it came out of the tree. I saw the eyes, I saw the nose, I saw the teeth, and the eyes that I saw were like almond mahogany, but I had almost lifeless to him, right? With the shit-eating grin on his face, right? That people talk about with the flat teeth and all that. I saw it.
Yeah.
And it came close to me, but will you ever believe me? No. You should, I mean, you might, but the thing is, you know, the fact is you'll never know that I'm telling you the truth because you didn't experience it. I honestly think that each and every one of us are destined to have our own unique experiences.
Right. I never, ever say, when I'm out there, I never point out a Bigfoot. I don't, you know, I always say, what was that? What was that black entity that passed by? One time, I say on a video, I seen Bigfoot. I did. I freaking seen him. And I seen him sitting in a tree.
Imagine that. Sitting in a tree.
He was sitting in a tree, and I'm talking 200 feet. I mean, this tree was huge. Had to be the biggest tree in the forest, sitting up there.
That makes sense too.
And I had a rock throw right on video. I seen it. Rock landed, and I, you know, in my head, I looked, or something landed. May not been a rock, but I looked for a split second, and then I thought, oh no, you ain't getting me, man. Like, you ain't getting me to look. Put it back up there, and I seen it, like, kind of like, I don't want to say walking, but I'm going to use that term, walking on a branch, and then dissipate. You know, disappear.
Just like that. Just like that, right?
But I seen it with my own eyes, and it wanted me to see it.
And here's the thing. It wanted you to see it. The way it manifested was completely opposite of what all the experts said it was going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, and they're going to, and it's like, it's.
Yep. That's the only time I've ever said that that was my encounter. Now, Trapper had his own encounter. You know, he's seen it through the bushes. He kneeled down and he was having a conversation with it. You know, looking back at me, he's like, its eyes are so brown and beautiful. And he's talking to it like, how are you? Oh my God, you're, you know, like this. It was this beautiful thing.
It's very interesting, isn't it? Very interesting.
Right.
So, you know, here's a tree. Here's an example of what I believe I filmed of a Bigfoot in a tree, manifesting a tree, popping, hanging on a tree. If you look up here, this is the guy's head right here. This is his elbow, his arm, his paw right there. This is his body.
Oh, yeah.
But he's also got this other guy here too. That's like a hooded guy, and they're traveling up this tree. But if you pay attention to that's, I think that's a Bigfoot. It's got the beard. It's really blurry for you guys. There's the eyes, the beard, the nose.
Yeah.
And I mean, and in the middle of the day, and it just.
Sorry about that.
Manifesting out of the tree, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Eye of the beholder, guys, right?
Sorry about that.
But if you pay attention, look at it, you're going to see there's something going on there, regardless.
Yeah.
And it's sticking out like a sore thumb, and it's not where the rest of the tree looks different. So this is something I feel very confident that's and I remember that day, and I remember the woods there, and I remember how it was, and it was going through there. It's like,
yeah. Oh, yeah. We've had tons of conversations with them. That's for sure.
That's all we do in the woods. Well, at least for me, I got no one else to talk to when I'm. You got a chance at least to talk to your audience or to MT, but I mean, for me, when I went out, there was no one else to talk to but the spirits.
Right. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go get something to eat. It's going on 10:30 for me.
Good job, bro. Thank you for inviting me. I don't know if we accomplished what you wanted us to accomplish, but I enjoyed my 2.5 hours with you. So
hey, I enjoyed it. I hope that we got some questions answered, and thank you everyone for being here with us tonight. I said it was going to be, we're going to talk about a couple different things, and we did.
So, right, and just one more thing before we go. Just another example where I try to tell you about this stuff is popping out of the tree. It's not in the tree. It's popping out of the tree. If you pay attention,
I see it. Yeah.
So that's what you need to start paying attention to. That's what I recommend for whatever it's worth. And
yep.
If it's not worth anything, I understand too, though. But I appreciate your time. Everyone else to join us. Thank you.
Head over and join his channel, man. Subscribe to his channel.
I gotta get active again about doing it. Like I said, I've spent the past 4 months in pure darkness.
Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And
so once again, so you'll be live tomorrow? Is that what's going on?
No, I got a video drop tomorrow.
Then when you guys going live next?
Don't want to promise nothing.
Okay. Sometime next week. Sometime in the next week or two.
Sometime in the next week.
Well, good luck in your adventure, and I hope you guys have great success and enjoy it and the experience and all that.
I am going to head over to Claim 3 this week, so maybe there. He's been calling me, telling me about his Bigfoot.
Well, what is he saying? Is he having bad experiences?
Yeah, something's been pounding on his house. We know that ground is haunted.
Does he do anything about it, or is he just freaked out, or does he enjoy it?
He tries to ignore it, but when you got something pounding on your house, and I left cameras there and heard the pounding. He's called me at 2:00 in the morning, listening to the screaming that's coming out. I've tried everything. We've tried everything to get rid of it. I left sayings from the Bible on all 4 corners of his property. Come back and they're ripped up, and nobody, not even the guys, knew they were there.
Huh.
Yep.
He's got a poltergeist, forced poltergeist of some sort, huh?
Think that's what it is.
Interesting.
Let's see. We'll go back. That's where we caught the jelly man. That thing that came right towards me was looking at me and then floated backwards.
I like that. The jelly man. This is a good
Jelly man. That's the only way to explain them.
Like plasma. Plasma is the same thing.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Everyone else, I'm going to play a song to close it out. And hopefully I talk to you soon, bro. You have a great week. Tell Mike I said hi and the rest of the gang.
One more thing. Sticker sales coming back up. Be on the Facebook page. It'll be the same as last time when I did sticker sales. I'll get everything posted tomorrow. Everything that we make from the sticker sales is going towards the Wi-Fi box. Satellite Wi-Fi
box.
Yep, satellite Wi-Fi, so we can go live everywhere.
Oh, that's great. What a great idea.
Yep.
That's a great idea. How much do those things run?
Oh, yeah. They're around 800 some bucks.
Shit. Yeah, guys, you better donate. Help out, man. That's money, man.
Yeah.
That is the money. That's the dollars.
Yep, but it'll be a game changer. Excuse me. It'll be a game changer. So I've been saving everything and putting it towards that.
Should we play Laser Eel from Skubmudel, a German three-piece band. Take care, bro.
All right. Good night, everybody.